Hey you guys, Becca here, and I just wanted to touch on a huge win today at a facility. Um, what is the most important thing in my world? It's always education. Bringing the knowledge that's going to help lead to better patient safety. And you guys, at this particular facility, I think we've had, I don't know how many educations on leak testing. And we all know the value of leak testing. But at this particular facility, the thing that needed to be addressed is, oh my gosh, we are spending so much money on repairs of these flexible scopes. What's happening? And so we implemented an educational program that was set up so that we would hit every single hand that touched these scopes, from nurses to techs, all the way down to sterile processing. And I think by the time we were said and done, we educated almost 100 people on a proper leak test. This particular facility implemented leak testing post-procedure in the operating room, leak testing in decontam, and then leak testing on the clean side. And why I'm sharing that is because the win today was that we got a scope back from repair and the total cost was $85.11. What? Holy huge, Batman. And that was all because a small leak was identified early on in the process before this repair became a full overhaul. So, in this case, I'm not even going to show the model. It's a flexible cystoscope, and they caught the leak in decontam on the dirty side, which means that the scope is reprocessed in a different way to not cause further damage to this device. So, if you have a handheld leak tester, I know I've covered this before. Every specialty will have a different leak tester because the adapter is different to fit on to the unit in which you leak test. So the component right here is where we're going to leak test, same place that the ETO cap goes, depending on the model of the scope. So we hook up the leak tester. I don't have one on me right now, and we pump it up. We pump it up to the happy zone. Pump, 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 pump. It's a slow process, right? Pump it up to the happy zone. We get there. I call it the happy zone, and it's a safe place that every time, so for me I go to 150, and on some of the leak testers they're all a little bit different, but there'll be a green spot, a green window, and I pump up to the line between the green and the red. That's how I do it. All the leak testers are a bit different, so I'm speaking in vague terms right now. I pump up to 150, which is right between the red and the green zone. I pump it up, I leave it. I leave it for 90 seconds. Sometimes I'll put a song on my phone that's 90 seconds. Sometimes I'll dance a little bit. Always a bit different. With flexible cystoscope, flexible ureteroscope, it's pretty simple because there's not that many checkpoints. But in that 90 seconds, why not do the checkpoints, right? So I hook up the leak tester, pump it up to the safe spot, the happy zone. My only recommendation is to go to the same point every single time, so there's no room for error. Once it's hooked up, then I'm going to manipulate. So, step one, manipulate the device. In this one, there's only an up-down lever, right? In the process, I'm going to protect the distal end of the scope. So, manipulate, and then check. Visual inspection. I'm going to check the eyepiece. I'm going to run my finger around the eyepiece to make sure that there's no abrasions, no dents, no places where when a camera was hooked up, it caused damage from the coupler or anything like that. So we have assessed, we looked, we're checking it out, going down. Right here, I'll check right here at the tension relief boot. Is this torn? Is this ripped? Is it damaged? Now we'll go down the length of the scope until I get to the bending rubber where I'll assess. Are there any holes? Are there any abrasions? And then I will get to the distal tip. Sorry that it's kind of hard to see. This video is far from perfection, but I think that something beats nothing, correct? I will assess the distal tip. Is there damage to the seat cover? Is there cracks? Sometimes you'll see little bitty like spiderweb things coming out of the biopsy, where the biopsy comes out of the biopsy channel. Wow, I can talk. and I will check that. Little tiny abrasions are normal. It's just gonna happen. But is there any big chips? Is there any damage on the glue band? I'm gonna check that out as well. Are we good, right? So we checked eyepiece. You can even check the illumination by holding it up to a light. Or a really great trick I like is to take the flashlight on my cell phone, turn it on. I'm gonna hold it right up to where the cord connects. I'm gonna make sure that I have light coming out the distal end of the scope and that all of the points that light should illuminate are fully illuminated. So we've got light, camera, action. So we've checked it out. We are good for physical damage all the way down the scope. This can go for a gastroscope, this can go for a colonoscope, this can go for an ERCP scope, ureteroscope, cystoscope. Concept remains the same regardless of the scope. So in these 90 seconds, so we're doing a manual leak test, we're making all the physical checks, we're manipulating, we're assessing, we're checking things out. And then this whole time, I usually will just set the leak tester where I can see it to make sure pressure isn't dropping. At the end of the 90 seconds, if the needle hasn't moved, you're winning. If the needle moves a teensy bit, probably fine. There was air trapped in the channels, it's releasing. That's good, that's fine, totally normal. And so if it's dropped more than 10, I say, there's reason for concern here. Why do we do a 90-second leak test? Because a 90-second leak test is going to identify a small leak in the biopsy channel. It's gonna be minimal, it's gonna be not big. So you can catch these small damages. In this case, I am celebrating the win of this facility with you guys because guess what? A minor damage resulted in a minor cost and the scope was not fully flooded and we did not have a bigger problem. So you guys, I hope that was helpful to you and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.